Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. And today's video comes out of Houston, Texas, and it's a story of road rage which claimed the life of a 33-year-old woman. So before we get started, if you enjoy the videos on this channel, if you enjoy the commentary on this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. So as I said, this is a story about a young woman who was killed, basically a road rage incident. You know, when we're behind the wheels of our cars, it gives us a sense of power because we're in total control. And sometimes when things happen, it can cause another driver who feel that they've been violated to act violently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the actual news clip that was reported by a Houston news channel, and then I'll get into the article.
From Houston's west side tonight, police say a woman riding a motorcycle was run over and killed near a grocery store right off San Felipe and Voss.
And investigators say this was not the first crash involving the woman and the other driver. Channel 2's Sophia Beausoleil is joining us live tonight to explain. Sophia?
Bill, investigators are still here, and they're hoping that surveillance video will give them a better picture of what exactly happened and whether this was intentional or not. But here's what we know so far. So police say it's illegal here in Texas, but a motorcyclist was splitting the lanes of traffic on Voss and Westheimer. HPD says the motorcyclist hit two vehicles and then took off. Now, officers say the drivers of those two vehicles pulled into a parking lot, called police, and that's when one of the drivers saw the motorcycle drive by again.
The driver got in her vehicle, started following the motorcycle. At some point, they ended up behind the Kroger. That's when, at some point, the motorcyclist went down, and the driver drove over the motorcyclist. The motorcyclist was transported to the hospital, deceased at the hospital.
Police were called around 6 o'clock this evening to Voss and San Felipe behind the Kroger. Authorities gave the woman accused of running over the motorcyclist a field sobriety test. Now, there is a representative from the DA's office here. It's unclear at this point whether that driver will face any charges. We are expecting an update from police. In regards to the woman who was killed on the motorcycle, she was about 30 years old. Reporting live from West Houston, Sophia Beausoleil, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Okay, so that is the story of what happened. And to be honest with you, I think this is the first time that I've personally heard of a woman committing homicide as a result of road rage. Normally I hear that, the men do it, they get upset and then they kill the other driver. But this is the first time that I've seen a woman be charged with this type of a crime. So let's get into this article. The Harris County District Attorney's Office said road rage was to blame for a deadly motorcycle crash in West Houston on Monday. Sean Tier, chief of the DA's Vehicular Crimes Division, said they've charged Julvian Dotran, the driver of the vehicle used to strike the motorcyclist, with manslaughter after a hit-and-run crash turned deadly. Okay, so I find that to be very interesting that she would only get charged with manslaughter, because to me, in my opinion, this was actually murder, maybe second-degree murder because she was angry. But it appears that she actually got in her car and followed this motorcyclist. I don't know what happened when they got behind the Kroger, if she hit the motorcyclist or maybe the motorcyclist just fell down, but she ran over her. So I don't understand why she's getting manslaughter. If this was my loved one, I wouldn't be happy with this. Basically, this is the newest and freshest example of a minor traffic incident turned completely tragic, Tier said. Houston police said the motorcyclist, a woman, was splitting lanes, which is illegal in Texas, on Voss and Westheimer roads when she struck two vehicles. And, I get upset when I see people doing dumb things on the road, but I don't get so mad that I want to chase after them and kill them. You know what I mean? It's not that serious. I'm not hurt. It doesn't matter if my car is hurt. That's what insurance is for. If you have a problem with your car, then you go through proper insurance to deal with the situation. Call the police, do the report, and do things lawfully. You don't you don't take this into your own hands, and especially murder someone. Well, they're calling it manslaughter. I'm calling it murder. The woman drove her motorcycle away from the scene of the initial crash, according to Lieutenant Larry Crowson, while the two other drivers of the vehicles pulled over to a parking lot to call police. So you have the motorcycle driver. She's splitting lanes. She hit some cars. The drivers get out. They're on the phone with the police. The motorcyclist comes back. One of the women that was on the phone with the police sees her, jumps in her car, and goes after her. You're on the phone with the police. At that point, you should have just stopped and let the police do their job. But instead, she wants to play vigilante slash police slash executioner and go after this woman. A short time later, the woman rode her motorcycle past the initial crash scene, prompting Chan to chase her in the car that was involved in the initial crash, police said. One of the cars, this Honda, began pursuing the motorcycle, which was finally able to stop it closer to the Westminster and Voss. The passenger of the Honda got out of the car and attempted to have the bike stop. The bike didn't and drove around that person, Tier said. The driver of the Honda continued to pursue. We're not sure exactly where they went, but they did go around these neighborhoods. Okay, why did they continue to pursue them after they were just on the phone calling 911 for the police to come? This just seems like this woman and whoever else was in the car with her, they were pissed. I mean, extremely pissed. We gonna get her. We gonna get that bee. You know what I mean? We gonna get her tonight. It just sounds like they were out for blood. That's my opinion. I understand people get road rage, but this is taking road rage to a place that it didn't need to go. He said Tran, along with a female passenger, followed the woman on motorcycle behind the Kroger at San Felipe and Voss. We're still not quite sure why the motorcycle lost control, Tia said. It was either struck slightly by the Honda, which I believe that's what happened, or the Honda was directly behind it, following it very closely at the time the bike lost control. The bike, for whatever reason, slid into the wall, followed immediately by the Honda. The Honda struck the bike and the driver of the motorcycle as she fell off, which ultimately killed the driver of the motorcycle. So here they're trying to paint it as if this was like an unfortunate accident. They were so close behind the driver that they couldn't stop, that the car just kept going and killed the driver. And is that a possibility? It could be. But I just don't think it is. I wasn't there. The only people that know is the person who's deceased and the two people that were in that car. And I'm quite sure they're going to probably come out and do a little bit more investigating to see. But they're making it seem like this was an accident that went very wrong. I don't know if I believe that. The woman was taken to an area hospital where she was pronounced dead, police said, so she probably was dead at the scene. Tran stayed at the scene and gave investigators a statement. And in the news clip, you can see them giving her I guess that was the sobriety test with that little red light. I never had it. I always thought they made you walk or say the ABCs. You know how they do in the movies or in them old shows. This is an example of why you can't take the law into your own hands, Tia said. By all accounts, this woman, the defendant in this case, was on the phone with 911. At that point, her duty was over. She should not have followed, and especially as closely as she did, with the speeds that were involved in this case. You just can't do that. You can't. I mean, she had to be going the motorcycle was probably going fast and she was just right on her tail. She was right on her tail. You can't do stuff like that. I don't care how mad another person makes you. You are not the authority. The police are. Call the police and let them do their job. When we try to do the job of somebody else's, we mess it up. Now this woman is dead, 33 years old. Tia said they gave Tran a field sobriety check test and there appeared to be no signs of intoxication. This apparently was just another case of road rage, Tia said. HPD officials said the woman who was killed was 33. And they said 30 in the news clip, so I don't know which one is the accurate one. But, road rage is very serious. I remember there was a case years ago where there was a road rage, and I can't remember in what state, but the man got so upset, he got out his car and got a bow and arrow and shot the bow and arrow at the man in the other car and killed him. I have a video on my channel where a road rage incident and the guy hopped on the guy's hood of the car and guy driving through the streets, on the highway with them. So, road rage is very serious, and I think it comes out of people feeling as though they have been violated, because when you're in the car, you're like in complete control of that car. You control all the movements, you control whether it stops and goes, and if someone invades your space or gets into your space or violates your space, it can make you angry. All of us get angry, but get angry to the point where you are just hopping in the car, you just going on pure adrenaline, that you want to hurt somebody. I mean, what was the purpose of them following this motorcyclist? What was their purpose? Was the purpose to hurt her? Was the purpose to bring her back to justice? I don't know what the purpose was for them following her like that. But at any rate, whether or not it was intentional, whether or not it was an accident, someone has lost their life. And people can play the blame game on either side. I'm not playing a blame game at all. There's rights and wrongs in every case. And, to each his own. But I don't believe this woman deserved to die. Not for something like this. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.